Have you ever wondered what the secret is to, just getting along with everyone? Well, for almost a century now, one single book has pretty much held the answers. Today, we're going to crack open the timeless blueprint from Dale Carnegie's legendary guide, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
But first, I want to start with a number, 85%. What if I told you that 85% of your success, both financially and professionally, has almost nothing to do with your technical skills? It sounds kind of wild, right? But this is the bedrock idea that Carnegie built his entire philosophy on.
So get this. Research from the Carnegie Foundation actually found that only about 15% of our success is because of technical knowledge. The other huge chunk, that massive 85%, it all comes down to what they called human engineering. Basically, your personality and your ability to lead and connect with people. Now, this isn't just about being nice. Carnegie created a practical playbook, a set of real, actionable rules for mastering that crucial 85%. It lets you get along with people, persuade them, and lead them in a way that actually works. So, how do we build this blueprint? We're going to start with the foundation, the core techniques for handling people. Then, we'll build on that to forge real connections, master the art of persuasion, and finally, learn how to lead without making enemies. It all comes together in Carnegie's master plan. Okay, let's dive right into the first part. This is all about the foundational layer of Carnegie's blueprint, the absolute must-know basics of dealing with people. This quote right here, this is the big secret. Carnegie said that every single person has one driving need, this deep, powerful desire to feel important. And if you can understand that and help satisfy that craving in other people, you basically hold the key to influencing them. And that big secret leads directly to his 3 fundamental rules. They're all designed to appeal to that core human need. First, don't criticize. It just wounds their pride and makes them defensive. Second, satisfy that craving for importance with honest, sincere appreciation. And third, always frame things from their point of view. Arouse an eager want in them. Don't just talk about what you want. All right, with that foundation in place, Carnegie then shows us how to build genuine rapport. These are the practical techniques that make people actually genuinely like you. This might be the most famous takeaway from the entire book, and you know what? It's for a good reason. It is so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Just think about it for a second. Hearing your own name is a direct acknowledgement that you exist, that you're an individual. It's such a subtle but profound way to connect. And if you look at his 6 steps, you'll notice they're all really about one thing: showing the other person that they matter. You become genuinely interested in them. You smile. You use their name. You listen way more than you talk. You focus the conversation on their interests, and you always find sincere ways to make them feel valued. Okay, so you've built some real rapport, but what about actually influencing people? How do you win them over to your way of thinking without starting a fight? Well, that's where the art of gentle persuasion comes in.
So here's a pretty radical idea from Carnegie. You can never win an argument. I mean, even if you totally prove your point, you've just damaged the other person's pride and you've lost their goodwill. The real goal is to shift from confrontation to cooperation. So instead of just blurting out, "You're wrong," you find a way to respect their opinion and build from some common ground.
And a brilliant tactic for this is what he calls the yes technique. You basically start by asking questions that you know the other person has to say yes to. This gets them moving in a positive, affirmative direction. You build a whole chain of yeses, making it so much easier for them to eventually agree with your final proposal, often feeling like it was their great idea all along.
And all these skills, handling people, making friends, persuading them, they all culminate in leadership. Because for Carnegie, leadership isn't about giving orders or using power. It's about the delicate art of changing people's minds and behaviors without making them resent you. Carnegie gives us this perfect example of how not to lead. You've got this instructor dealing with an illegally parked car, and he just gives this brash, arrogant order. Sure, the car might get moved, but all he's really done is create anger and resentment. He's totally damaged the relationship. And this, of course, sets up the obvious question, doesn't it? Is there a way to get the car moved to achieve the goal, but do it while preserving the person's dignity and encouraging cooperation instead of rebellion? You bet there is. The better way is to use Carnegie's leadership rules. Instead of screaming, you ask questions. Instead of accusing, you talk about your own mistakes first. You begin with praise, you let the other person save face, and you give them a fine reputation to live up to.
You protect their dignity, that sense of importance we talked about, and you inspire change instead of just demanding it.
So when you zoom out, you can really see how all these principles, from handling people to making friends to leading, they're all part of one single cohesive blueprint for unlocking our own potential. Carnegie loved to quote the philosopher William James, who said, "We're all only half awake, using just a tiny fraction of our true abilities." And Carnegie truly believed that by mastering human relations, we could unlock those sleeping powers and start to live up to our full potential.
And you know what? That powerful idea is exactly why, decades and decades later, Carnegie's work has sold tens of millions of copies. It's just as relevant today as it was in 1937 because it taps into something fundamental we all want: the desire to connect, to influence, and to be understood.
So there you have it, Carnegie's blueprint for better relationships and greater influence. But just knowing the principles is only step one. The real magic, of course, happens when you actually use them. So, as you go about your day-to-day, maybe just ask yourself, which one of these ideas could I try right now?